Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
Here are today's top headlines. Car sales fell year over year, but are up month over month. GM doesn't know who's going to run Opel, and designer Peter Horbury is gone from Ford. Up next, we'll be back with the news behind the headlines. This is Autoline Daily for Thursday, April 2nd, 2009, and now the news. Car sales fell 34% in the American market last month, according to data from Wards. Sales came in at a paltry 855,000 units for an annualized rate of only 9.8 million vehicles. Pretty dismal, but sales were up 24% compared to the month before, meaning 168,000 more people bought a new car. Sales were down 45% at Infiniti. Chrysler Jeep stores saw a 44% decline. GM was down 42%, although some of its brands did way worse than that. And Lexus was off 40%. Only 2 brands saw their sales go up. Kia was up 3% and Subaru up a little over 1%. In an interview with the Detroit News, Fritz Henderson, the new CEO of General Motors, said the company will maintain its global product development process with Opel, Daewoo Technologies, and its partnership with Shanghai Automotive in China. But Henderson says if GM ends up with a minority position in Opel, he doesn't know who might end up running that operation, and that GM may have to negotiate with the new owners over how to run it. A Republican congressman is calling for the Obama administration to fire UAW President Ron Gettelfinger, the Detroit Free Press reports. That congressman, Connie Mack, says if the Obama administration feels it has to fire GM Chairman Rick Wagner, then it ought to fire the head of the union too, because the UAW is just as responsible for GM's problems. Be interesting to see if this goes anywhere in Congress. You can bet the president isn't going to touch that one. Ford's design chief for North America, Peter Horbury, is leaving the company to go to Volvo, where he worked earlier. Horbury replaces Stephen Matten, who left Volvo to pursue other opportunities, as they say. Maury Callum, the current director of design for cars at Ford Americas, will take over Horbury's position at Ford. First it was the Golf, then it was the Rabbit, then it was the Golf, then the Rabbit, and now it's the Golf again. Volkswagen announced it's switching the name of the Rabbit back to the Golf. According to the New York Times, the Golf name will be used at the New York Auto Show when it's unveiled there. The Golf will be offered with a 2-liter diesel when it goes on sale in the U.S. Coming up next, a closer look at the new Lexus RX crossover. We'll be back right after this.
Changing tires out here could be dangerous, but with these tires, I don't need to worry.
Bridgestone.
The other day, we gave you a broad overview of the redesigned Lexus RX. Today, we're going to dig a little deeper into this 2010 model to show you some of its technical features. For the most part, Lexus stuck to the same formula that made its RX so successful over the years. It puts a silky, smooth 275 horsepower V6 under the hood and matches it with, for the first time in an RX, a 6-speed automatic transmission. Hybrid models get a CVT instead of the regular automatic and a combined 295 horsepower. Meanwhile, when it comes to the body, engineers look to upgrade some of the things people usually don't think about. It designed the bottoms of the doors to tuck underneath the body. This prevents dirt and road grime from collecting on the sills, which means your pant legs will stay clean when you climb in and out. Another nice touch has to do with the placement of the rear windshield wiper.
It's one of those features where you see it and you go, why didn't we think of that sooner? In the past, the rear spoiler was an accessory, and we saw in our sales that most people ordered the car with the rear spoiler. It just gave it a really nice look. So with this model, we made the rear spoiler standard, and since it was going to be on all of the products, it was just a natural progression to tuck the windshield wiper up underneath there, get it out of the way, out of your line of sight, and it gives many advantages, such as cold climates, it's less susceptible to icing up and sticking, and going through the car wash, it's less susceptible to damage from the car wash brushes.
Speaking of the back of the vehicle, Lexus redesigned the rear suspension. The switch to a compact double wishbone setup allowed for 5% more room behind the seats because the shock towers don't intrude into the cargo area as much. For safety, the new RX comes with 10 standard airbags, including curtain, knee bolster, front and rear side impact, and more. It probably has enough airbags to float. RX 350 models should be on sale at dealerships right now with a sticker price of about $37,000 for front drive models and around $39,000 for all-wheel drive. Pricing on the hybrid version has not been announced yet. Look for those numbers to come out a little closer to when it goes on sale, which should be in a couple of months. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. But don't forget, we've got another episode of Autoline After Hours tonight at AutolineDaily.com. Jason Vines and Peter DeLorenzo will be back, and John Neff from Autoblog will be Skyping in from Cleveland. We're going to talk about the GM meltdown and whatever else you want to talk about, so we're looking for your help. If you've got stuff that you'd like to discuss, bookmark the links at delicious.com and tag the stories Autoline Live, all one word. Then join us tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern or 2400 hours Greenwich Mean Time at AutolineDaily.com and hop in the chat or just sit back and listen. Either way, it'll be a great time. See you tonight.
Visit our website for even more great content all week long. Autoline Extra, John's Journal, podcasts, and even more. So click over and get the inside view at AutolineDetroit.tv.